Welcome to another video, and this time, oh my god, okay, this is probably not the best video to start off with, but whatever, we're gonna go for it. These are, in my opinion, the most disappointing albums that have come out this year, and let me just say this, okay, that when I say disappointing, I don't mean like these albums are trash, they're bad, they're mid. You know, these albums, the only reason why they're not as good and they're disappointing to me is because these artists, I hold them to a higher standard, you know? And so when they deliver something that's like good, you know, I expect it to be great instead, right? And so these albums are disappointing, but they're still good. They're just not great, right? And that's why I'm here. I have to put that qualification up because I know a lot of people are gonna be like, oh my god, you don't like this album? No, not the case. I like it, and you can see my Spotify streams like running it up, but the problem is that like these artists are so good, they should do better, and they didn't do better, especially after like a long break. But let's get into it. Alright, this first one honestly isn't really a big deal, but it's Peace Fly God by Westside Gunn. Now, normally when you see, you know, like a stacked featured list and you see someone like Madlib producing, you kind of expect people to be like, holy shit, this is gonna be a good album. But then when you listen to it, it's like, oh, this album was just, it was just okay. And yeah, like, I don't know, there's a couple songs on there like Jesus Crack that I really like, but Jesus Crack is like a 7 or 8 minute song and it kind of goes on a long time. I kind of just like listening to Stove God Cooks when he goes like, for God so loved the world and gave us coke. For God so loved the world and gave us cocaine. I love that shit, right? So fucking catchy. But honestly, that's like the best thing from the album because I've listened to it 3-4 times, you know, and gone back to it every now and then, but it doesn't really hit, you know, it's just like, eh. Westside Gunn has a lot of fucking projects. He's got Hitler 1 to 10, he's got Hitler on steroids, all of his like Fly God stuff, Peace Fly God, he's got like Fly God is an amazing God or whatever, you know, like he's got so many projects, and he's got other projects with other people and stuff, and so like I hold him to a higher standard. I don't know, Peace Fly God, decent, but you know, not super great. The next one, oh my god, this one might, okay, it already has sparked a lot of controversy, and it's just my opinion. Again, album's not great, it's just good. And this one is gonna be 2000 by Joey Badass. It's a follow-up to his 1999, not his 1999 mixtape, but his mixtape is named 1999 from about a decade ago. And wow, I don't know, this album again falls flat. There's a couple songs on it that I really like, right? Every now and then I'll still be like, you know, humming along, it's like, you know, I like that. And then like Brandy 911, fantastic fucking song. The intro, kind of strong, the middle parts kind of just blends together, you know, and then it kind of just gets like worse as it goes on. I don't know. Joey Badass has made really good projects in the past, but I feel like people are hyping him up too much, you know. They're like, oh my god, Joey Badass is dropping, and then like, you know, they kind of refuse to just admit that, hey, maybe this album isn't as good as it could be, you know. Personally, for me, I just can't really get into it, you know. His other projects have been nicer, they've been more poppy or more serious, more conscious. This one just, I've tried revisiting it so many times, you know, like I made a video on it when it first came out, and I said I was kind of disappointed. I said he sounds more like he's trying to reinvent himself to be something he's not, instead of just sticking to his roots and, you know, doing what he does best. Another one, let's see, third album, Wasteland by Brent Faiyaz. Wow, I remember reviewing this album as well, and I enjoyed it. It sounds very, it's very smooth. It's definitely like that like new R&B kind of like vibe, you know, that you kind of like invite a girl over, you know, you go for like a late night drive. It's kind of that mood. But my main problems with it were that why are there like singles that have come out like 2-3 years ago on the project, and the rest of the album, I mean, it's somewhat cohesive. I mean, there's like these skits and stuff in between, and he raps about like, or I guess he sings about all of these, you know, like problems that he's going through, you know, with like relationship issues and, you know, being unfaithful and all that. I just feel like it's a very saturated topic, and he didn't do the best job executing it because he kind of just blends in with everyone else. He had come off of so much success with like Lost Souls, Gravity, Sweet I Thought You Wanted to Dance, Dead Man Walking, and then his last EP, right, Fuck the World. Like, it was pretty fantastic, right? And so coming into this new project, you kind of expected something more grand, and you kind of just get like a bunch of, you know, loose singles tossed into the album, and then form like a very cohesive album, and it's not the greatest listen. I really like the song All Mine though, and I think it's like one of his most streamed songs from the album, so there's that. Again, right, it's good, but like because of all the hype and the expectations and stuff, these albums kind of just fell flat. I'm not saying the hype killed the art, because in retrospect, when I like revisit these projects, right, and I go back to it, at the time I wasn't really feeling it, and still I'm not really feeling it, so it's not aging well. You know, when it first came out, there wasn't that like honeymoon phase of, oh wow, this is like a great album. I wasn't really getting any of that. And this next one, another rap album by Lupe Fiasco. Now this one, Rap Music in Zion, is decent, but again I think it falls flat. Like Lupe Fiasco has made some really interesting stuff in the past, and he has like really energetic, really creative, you know, witty flow, you know, witty lyricism. Lupe Fiasco, I really only know him for like his like early 2000s projects, and that he did with like Touch the Sky, right? Like I love it, right? Lupe Fiasco has a lot of potential, and he dropped this album, which apparently he like recorded all on like GarageBand in like the span of like 2 days or something. So honestly, really fucking good for like a project that was just like spammed out. Like it was written and like recorded or whatever in like the span of like a couple days in GarageBand. Fucking fantastic, right? But for someone like Lupe Fiasco, that, you know, I can kind of hold to a higher standard because of his previous projects and how much critical acclaim he gets, I just feel like Lupe Fiasco can do better, even though his album was made in just like a couple days. I don't know, it's just kind of boring and it falls flat. It doesn't feel like he does anything exciting or new. He doesn't really change up his flow. It kind of just blends together. And that's my main problem with a lot of these projects, is that they don't sound unique enough. They either sound like something that was already made before, or they sound like a worse version of a genre that they're trying to do. The elements of the album should complement each other, and I feel like in these cases they don't really. This next one, again, same problem, is Joji's Smithereens. Now, we all saw a glimpse of us blow up everywhere. It has like 600 million streams, and it came out in like June or something. Good song. I really fuck with that song. And there's a couple other songs on there too, like Die For You, right? Really fucking love those songs. But looking at this like unfinished two-sided double, I don't know, it's like a double album or something with like 10 tracks, and it just seems really unfinished. Like there's good songs, right? Like Glimpse of Us and Die For You have like actual cohesive song structure, but the rest of the album is kind of just like, what the fuck am I listening to? These songs just end abruptly, the album cover is really boring and plain, and it's just like a gradient, man. Like, I don't know, Joji has a lot of potential, right? Like Nectar and Ballads 1 are like he should be improving, and he kind of is. You know, his singing is getting better, his song structure is getting better, but this one right here, a lot of people are saying, oh, maybe it's to get out of his contract with 88 Rising so he can be more independent. Sure, but like, bro, don't fucking disappoint your fans with like a half-ass project, man. If you're like Frank Ocean, for instance, you know, you could always drop Endless and then drop Blonde, you know, and people, you know, satisfy your fucking contract with Endless, a really fucking great piece of music, and then you can still have Blonde on like main streaming services. Alright, this next one is a compilation album by Nigo. He decided to make a compilation album with people like Kid Cudi and Pusha T, Clips, which is, you know, Pusha T's duo, the Creator on there, A$AP Rocky on there, you know, like a lot of big notable names. And throughout the whole year, we've been seeing these singles come out. You know, there's like the Pusha T one, the Kid Cudi one, the A$AP Rocky one. I was excited to see it, you know, just like a good producer matched with all these like great talents. You know, they can like bring their A game. These songs just aren't even as good for each of the artists and what they do. The Kid Cudi song, Kid Cudi has done way better. Man on the Moon 3, Man on the Moon 2, Man on the Moon 1, right? To name a couple. We've got Kids See Ghosts. We've got all of his features on like Kanye stuff. Like, bro, Kid Cudi has so much potential. He's got like Love, man. That's a fucking fire song. He's so capable of doing like a bunch of like really cool things, and I feel like he needs to be pushed to his potential. Like the Pusha T song, I mean, like, I think Pusha T thrives with that kind of production, but it just sounds like recycled, you know? I feel like he can change it up, right? Pusha T is a very, very diverse artist. The dude is so creative, so versatile, but like, he's just not, I don't know, he's not hitting the marks for me. And then same with the other ones, like A$AP Rocky, he kind of just sounds really, I I don't know. Like A$AP Rocky, I love his shit, you know, but like I just feel like he could be doing better. And so like the Ira beat just doesn't really complement. It's probably my favorite one out of all of them, but it still doesn't like really hit, you know. And then there's also the Tyler Creator one, which is actually like, it's pretty decent as well. It's probably up there with Ira, but like I don't know, it's just those are the highlights, and everything else kind of just like fades into the background. Alright, and next, okay, I really hate to say this because holy shit am I a big Freddie Gibbs fan. But Sold Separately didn't really hit. I listened to it and it was like, it was just, I don't know, it sounded really plain. There's a couple good hits, like, they said it couldn't be done. It couldn't be done? Couldn't be done? Yeah, that song, Couldn't Be Done. Fucking fire. Freddie brings energy, Freddie brings good flow, there's a fantastic beat, like that shit is fantastic, right? And then I think it just gets worse and worse from there. I enjoyed it, but I just feel like, I think I said this in another review that I made, but Freddie Gibbs really needs good production to complement his style, to push him, right? So when he's working with someone like Madlib or The Alchemist, you know, to name his like most popular and critically acclaimed albums, it makes sense, right?
It makes sense. He's got, you know, songs like Frank Lucas in 1989. He's got songs like Massage Seats. How the fuck do you rap on Massage Seats? You know, that beat is fucking phenomenal. It's so wacky and out of this world, and he raps over it. He does such a good job.
And like a lot of the singles that led up to it, bro, disappointing as fuck. I do find it cool though that like, you know, like the Pusha T feature and the Anderson .Paak feature are kind of decent, you know. They change it up a little bit, right? Like they change up the pacing a little bit. They do something different, right? Because every time you like have these people on, like I love it when they change it up, and that I can't be mad about. So yeah, there we go. I'm sorry, Freddie, but like, bro. All right, this next one, I mean, you guys have heard me talk about him a lot this video, so might as well just bring it up. Pusha T's It's Almost Dry. I know, I fucking know, right? This album is like critically acclaimed all over. Hey, I get it, but hear me out, okay? Like I said at the beginning of the video, I hold these artists to a higher standard. And so when they make something that is just good and not great, that's where it rubs me the wrong way. Pusha T hasn't had the greatest discography with like My Name Is My Name and his first one, I think. And then he comes in riding on Daytona, right? Fucking amazing. Daytona is so good. And Pusha T had already proved himself to be like one of the best, right? With features back all the way from like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Like I'm always excited to see a Pusha T feature, you know? Pusha T is like up here for me. And then I hear the singles like Diet Coke and Neck and Wrist, and I'm like, okay, I'll bring the ceiling down a little bit. Like they're decent, but they're not as good as they could be. And then I hear the whole album and I'm like, damn, it's like, it's decent. I definitely run up the tracks like Brambleton, fucking love Brambleton. Dreaming of the Past, fucking love that song. Fuck, the one with Uzi, I just scrape it off, yeah. Uzi and Don Toliver, that one's fucking, it slaps. But I feel like, you know, the songs like 1-800 Call My Bluff, and then like the, you know, Neck and Wrist, like I said, you know, and then like the ending, they could definitely be a lot better. With most of these albums that I've had a problem with, I can pick 1, 2, 3, 4 songs that are really good, but the rest of the album just doesn't really do it for me. Like, that's Marvin Gaye record, for example. I listen to the whole thing always. There's not just one song that's really good or 2 songs, it's every single fucking song. Modal Soul by Nujabes, the whole fucking project is amazing. Bjork, Post, fucking fantastic. Melodrama, Lord, everything is great. Mad Villainy, so fucking good. You can listen to it non-stop on repeat. It's so fucking good. And so when I see these albums where I can only pick like 1 or 2 songs to listen to at a time, it's like, it's not really an album. I feel like I'm just like, I feel like a normal listener, you know? Someone who just like puts songs into playlists, or someone who just listens to like their top hits because they're the ones that are most successful and the ones that sound the best. And I hate to say it, but that's actually happening. Now, I'm gonna save the most controversial for last. So this next one, Gemini Rights by Steve Lacy. And I know, no one has actually listened to the whole fucking album. People just know Bad Habit. Yeah, right? You know, there's other songs, I think like Mercury and Static and Cody Freestyle. Like, there's a lot of songs on there that are like, you know, that are on the fucking project. But nope, you know, TikTok just decided, hey, Bad Habit is gonna be the song, and we're gonna go to his concerts and sing only the chorus. Cool.
The way nobody sang the next verse embarrassing as.
I wasn't even like the biggest Steve Lacy fan, you know, so I can't really even say anything. But like he has done a lot of good things. He's had like you know, production credits on like Damn. I think he like co-produced Fear. He produced like Jet Fuel with Mac Miller. And I've heard stories about him. I mean, he did a TED Talk called like the Bare Maximum, where he uses a fucking iPhone to make like his past like 2 fucking projects. He just used GarageBand, plugged everything in, sang, recorded. Everything was just in GarageBand. And like, bro, this dude is incredibly talented. And when he was doing that shit, he was like young. He was like 17, 18, 19. Now he's like in his 20s and like, bro was riding like a huge success wave. But like, holy shit, man. Like, I think he needs more time to develop his feel and who he is and his music, you know, before he can go right off into this like commercial success. But yeah, good for him, I guess, but like also not, because, you know, like fucking, you've seen all the videos, TikTok has ruined Steve Lacy. Yeah, it kind of sucks for him, and he gets fucking pissed at everybody because like his fans aren't like real fans. I wouldn't go because I don't know, like I'm not the biggest Steve Lacy fan, but you know, this album is just This last one, wow, very controversial. Okay, I have Control on the wall, and I fucking love Control. Control is so fucking good. Control is one of the albums where I can just sit and listen to, right? From fucking Supermodel all the way to Normal Girl or Miss 20-something, right? I can listen to the whole fucking track list, banger after banger. SZA does incredible like performances on the album, right? She's got slow ballads like Doves in the Wind. She's got like more energetic songs like Prom and Weekend, you know, and then she's got like, you know, Drew Barrymore, which is kind of like dreary. Like SZA is just very versatile and she does very well. I was very, very hyped for this new SZA album, SOS. And boy, man, was this the most disappointing listen. It sounds too much like background music. Like, I could clearly see these songs being played in a department store or a coffee shop or something. I don't think SZA does enough experimentation. I don't think SZA brings enough to the table. SZA doesn't really like use her vocal range as much as she could. SZA doesn't, you know, have the greatest features.
Man, like that whole like middle section, I think it's like what, like Gone Girl and like, I can't even remember the names. Like, okay, yeah, so songs like Snooze, Notice Me, Gone Girl, Smoking on My X-Pack, Nobody Gets Me, Conceded Special, Too Late, Far. Like, come on, like those songs, like, can anybody remember anything from those songs? Not really.
I know F2F because F2F is like that Olivia Rodrigo song, and then you've got Ghost in the Machine, which has the Phoebe Bridgers feature, which is I really enjoy actually, even though it kind of falls flat. It's decent, but not, it doesn't live up to the potential, you know? And then there's a bunch of like one-off singles like I Hate You and Shirt and Good Days that like should have stayed singles, man. I get Shirt was like the single for the album, and I Hate You and Good Days were kind of just like tagged along, but like, come on, how are you gonna have Good Days on an album like this where like the whole production is more like acoustic and analog and it feels more serene, full of nature, you know? And then like, I don't know, then you have a song like Shirt where it's just very, very artificialist. On Control, the album cover kind of dictates that it's like, it feels exactly like the album cover, right? You got like love in the digital world where like nature kind of takes over, you know? It's like it just makes sense. But then when you listen to SOS and you look at the album cover, okay, so the beginning, the front is her doing like a Princess Diana diving board picture, cool. So I expect it to be kind of like, you know, cold, atmospheric, maybe like breezy, you know, like it should feel like, you know, like wind, you know, it should feel like water, it should feel aquatic, you know, it should feel like waves, right? And then like what I get is like a bunch of these like choppy fucking cuts and then like these really bland songs that kind of just like they're not as interesting as just watching waves, you know? SOS, I really like SOS because she's got that like, it's got that like live performance vibe, and she does really, really good with her vocal performance. I really like Kill Bill. Kill Bill, a fucking fantastic earworm. The album cover is generic and it doesn't really match the vibe that that the album should bring. It sounds too synthetic. most of the beats just sound like they're made in a fucking lab. You know, I get it. It's kind of going for like it's contemporary R&B. You know, so it's like it's more new, so it's more digitized, and then it's also got like, you know, elements of trap involved. You got like the Travis Scott stuff. Like it's fine, but I feel like, you know, her voice sounds so natural and beautiful, and like crowding it with these like trap and like synthetic beats just doesn't always work. You know, like a song like Drew Barrymore sounds really like naturey, you know, and a song like Miss 20 Something, you know, sounds like you're like flowing in nature, right? Which is why I really fuck with Good Days. But why the fuck is Good Days? It's like green, foresty, jungle like song on this like oceanic, like water blue song. It just doesn't make sense. Like the vibes are off, right? The vibes are off. Not as much experimenting, except for like the first song. Not the greatest beats, except for I guess she samples Bjork, which is pretty cool on the last track. Features, I actually kind of like the Don Toliver feature, and I kind of like the Phoebe Bridgers feature, but that's about it. Songs are just too bland and kind of fall into the background, and they don't even seem like radio friendly or TikTok friendly, you know? So, fuck, man. I hate to say bad things about these artists that I really love, you know, like Pusha T and Freddie Gibbs and SZA. But like, man, were these albums kind of disappointing? Especially after, you know, like Freddie Gibbs had taken a year off, so like, you know, we waited 2 years for Triple S. Pusha T hadn't dropped anything for 4 years, and SZA hadn't dropped anything for 5, you know? So like all of these albums kind of just like, bro, fuck, man, you guys had so much time and so much potential, and then you just like fall flat. Not gonna lie, you know, I still like some of these songs, but you know, I hold these artists to such a great like standard that when they make something subpar, it's like, I don't know, it's just disappointing to see, you know? Like, I get it, you know, these artists have like a lot to live up to, and these artists have like a lot of like problems, you know, dealing with like the stress and like public appearances and stuff. So I'm really glad that like a lot of these artists, you know, like Pusha T, Freddie Gibbs, SZA, whatever, right? They're all getting like this critical acclaim. Their fan base is going crazy with these fucking like, with these reactions. But for me personally, I think I'll just be revisiting a couple songs here and there. They're gonna make, you know, like the repertoire of the songs that I listen to mostly. But for someone like me who likes listening to full albums, it's kind of disappointing to see that like the whole vision of these artists just didn't really click with me, you know, like they could have with, you know, Daytona and Control and Pinata, you know. But that's just me. Man, I hope this wasn't an insufferable video. I kind of just like, I don't know, I just wanted to talk, and I wanted to share my opinions. So can't wait for this video to get 30 views at most, but that's okay. I'm happy I made this, and yeah. So I mean, share your thoughts. I know tons of people are loving these albums that I've called out, but you know, it's my opinion in the end. And again, I don't hate these albums, they're just not as good as they could be. Is that what I have to keep reiterating? So yeah, stay tuned for my best songs of 2022 and my best albums of 2022. I think you guys are gonna like those. And then like once you see that list, you'll kind of be like, oh shit, maybe David's right. Maybe Dave with normal cognitive abilities is right. Maybe, oh shit, he was onto something. Yeah, these other albums maybe aren't as good as the ones that I really like. So we'll see. But yeah, thank you. Subscribe, like, and comment. Do whatever. I don't know. Share your opinions. This is gonna get a lot of dislike, I think, but fuck it. Whatever. Peace.